Okay, I made it. What a drive. Why is my ring light not on? I don't know. I look fine, so I guess that's okay. What? Chip? Is it where? All right, maybe if I hit the light again. Nope. Try it again. Nope. You're just out. You're just you leave me a ring light. You just leave me hang. I got two lights. I'm fine. It's nighttime. Who cares? It's very late. What am I gonna do? Not do a show for you guys? Hi, welcome. Hello, chat room. Those of you that are here, welcome to Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Patreon.com/Hal Sparks. Super chats, always welcome and desperately needed to keep the show on its feet and going. And of course, our thank you to our long-running Patreon folks for making the show a reality and not and helping me rely on the kindness of strangers every show. We do need an after dark theme. This is true. Like a different set, you mean? Something something that looks like a boudoir. All right. Let me jump in because I've got a few clips to show you. One ridiculous, one proves a point I've been making all along, and then another one is just exemplary of the turd polishing that is going on in Trump Town right now. But first, I want to bring attention to a news story. Let's see if I should find something like this. Um, uh, this is my favorite story in quite a bit. Um, this is and I've seen a ton of let's see if I can put this in a reader format so I can show it to you that way. Yeah, here we go. This is it's some good stuff. This I gotta say. This business right here. Pentagon senior advisor Dan Caldwell ousted during investigation into leaks. Now, I have seen today while I was driving, I was listening to you know, basically podcasts, but like clips of shows talking about this particular issue, and the amount of them trying to go, it's either the signal thing that it wasn't his fault, some asshole Obama guy or some secret Dem in the Pentagon is trying to throw poor Pete Hegseth under the bus or destroy his career or stop the agenda of MAGA or whatever. When this guy was picked by Hegseth, they've been bros for a long time. He was on Fox News all the time. They were part of the same vet organization that was more than likely an NGO boondoggle to get the kind of funding and money that Trump skims off of his own followers. But and Caldwell's not the only guy going down. There's like three people. These are in Hegseth's domain, not under the National Security Agency. This isn't like the people. Waltz is the guy who put together the signal chat. So none of these guys are to blame if Waltz fucks up and adds somebody to the thing. So you'll see a ton of people tap dancing around this shit going, these are the guys that actually created the whole fucking Hegseth monstrosity, and it wasn't. This is about something else entirely. The other story that I keep hearing from these dickheads is that this is about media leaks, that they're leaking things to the media, and that we've got to, this is last time Trump had a problem with this, and we've got to plug these leaks at, okay, first of all, number one, as we say here all the time, chat room, say it with me, you can't leak a lie. If somebody leaks a piece of information, it is inherently true. Otherwise, you're just lying. Does that make sense? You can either lie or you can leak. You can't do both because you can't give people a piece of information under the table that's not true. If it's true, then it's a leak. If it's a lie, who gives a shit? Like, again, do you think these guys have a problem lying to the media? So let's just be straight out there that anything you hear them going, somebody leaked this, somebody leaked this, somebody leaked this. Anything comes out of the Trump administration where somebody leaked it, it's automatically true. You know this. Or they would be the first people to say it's a lie. That never happened. You know, they're saying something that they're talking out of school, never occurred. Okay. Secondly, or thirdly, fourthly, I've lost count. The turd polishers around this are trying to do anything they can to to pooper scooper what's behind this dickhead. These are the people that are being punted. Caldwell, and what was the other guy's name? It was head of concerns. Yeah, he was part of Concerned Veterans for America. Yeah, Joe Casper started this or said in a memo that this was going to happen. This investigation was going to happen directly, and then his other guy was kicked out. There's been 2 other people besides Caldwell, but Caldwell's the one that's closest to him. And the reason it's a big story is, and I'm sure chat room, some of you saw this, is Stan Caldwell the new Peter Navarro? No, he's more the new Mike Flynn, although I would say he's largely a scapegoat in this particular instance. But let me show you, see if I can find it real quick. I'll show you the kind of generalized McGurr coming from the right-wingers trying to run interference for him, because there's been a couple of funny ones. Let's see if that lady. Oh yeah, here you go. Is this business? Hold on. Okay, hold on. Let's go scoop this. Trish Reagan has this show. She's one of these right-wing ladies, and she has bombshell: alleged spy booted from Trump's DOD for reportedly leaking secret information. Now, in all honesty, leaking information versus mishandling classified information versus intentionally disseminating stuff, leaking to the media versus selling it, right? These are very distinct things. Insofar as we know, there has been no distinction. They just told this dude, don't go near your desk. We're going to walk you to the front door. Caldwell was walked out of the front door of the Pentagon today, or late yesterday, or whenever it was. And they don't let you go look at your shit. That's part of an investigation. They're going through his desk and the like. I don't know if there's a warrant for his home or any of that stuff, but he was walked out of the Pentagon. He does not get to go back and get his shit. And that's all we know about it. With like, they have not, nobody's directly said this is because of media leaks or because he's selling information or because he accidentally on purpose leaked something. But watch how fast these assholes go to, he's leaking to the media to make Trump look bad or whatever, which again, if it's a leak, it's true. Why would he lie to the media to make Trump look bad? If he's leaking to the media, then Trump is bad. Therefore, the evidence doesn't make you look like a murderer. You're a fucking murderer, and then the evidence lets everybody know officially that you're a murderer. Get it? So the fucking turd polishing is extraordinary right now. Okay, so check this out. This is very much, I think, part and parcel.
An advisor to Pete Hegseth is being pushed out at the Pentagon. Pete Hegseth, head of the Department of Defense, one of his advisors he's
sec def. Simmer down.
Believed to have been leaking possibly to the press.
Yep. No. You actually, he could have been stealing fucking pens and selling them black market Pentagon pens. You don't fucking know. They have not, there was an investigation by Casper that was put out into the Signal thing. This may be related or it might not. But what we do know is that they were like, get the fuck out. We will see you to the door. Notice, though, she puts on this little addendum. She hangs that little wrap your work attachment that has sort of a handle that their father left there only just the night before, around 8 o'clock. She doesn't know any of those details, and she's reading this, I think, for the first time.
And he was just escorted out of the Department of Defense. The story is being reported by Reuters. Reuters first to the story, the gentleman's name that was
Hi, real quick, Trish. Fuck you for using Reuters as a source when you guys shit on it all the time. How do we even know he was walked out today? He's probably still working there. It's Reuters, for God's sake. All they do is lie and try to destroy the country.
or is being escorted out there at Department of Defense, worked for Hegseth, and his name is Dan Caldwell. He, we don't know too much about him other than, let me just show you this.
Top Hegseth advisor Dan Caldwell put on leave in Pentagon leak probe. Okay, as a direct result of, connected? Maybe not. We don't know. We don't know. Well, let's see what Reuters actually fucking says. And by the way, hi Substack people. Are we on Substack? Is it up? There we go. And then Instagram. Hello. Hello. It's nice to be vertical with you. Pardon me for pointing this way when I mean to point that way when you're watching on there. Shit happens. Okay, so the title, exclusive. Hegseth, whatever, advisor, top, Dan Caldwell, Reuters. Okay, there we go. This is the actual article. There we go. Come on now. And I'm going to pull it out over here. Sorry. There's the actual article, not just the little picture piece that they're going to put up on there. This is what it actually says by Phil Stewart. Good work, Phil. Here, Pete Hegseth, here yammering to someone across the table while in his own head, he's trying to figure out how to fire that fucker. That's Caldwell, by the way. That's him. Okay. One of U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's leading advisors, obviously an Obama plant, clearly put there by Biden's criminal mind, Dan Caldwell, was escorted from the Pentagon on Tuesday after being identified during an investigation into leaks at the Department of Defense, a U.S. official told Reuters. Caldwell was placed on administrative leave for an unauthorized disclosure. The official said, speaking on condition of anonymity, the decision has not been previously reported. Now, unauthorized disclosure. Could that be the media? Sure. Could it be one of his fucking buddies at a sports bar? Yeah. Could it be to Elon Musk when Elon came by the fucking Pentagon and hung out there and they went over into a little fucking corner and yapped for a little bit and they both didn't realize just how many fucking cameras are in that fucking place? Okay. The investigation remains ongoing. There will be more. The official said without providing details about the nature of the alleged disclosure. Right. So when she says probably the media, that's her way of just trying to run interference for Trump, including whether it was made to a journalist or someone else. President Donald Trump's administration has moved to aggressively pursue leaks, an effort that has been enthusiastically embraced by Hegseth at the Pentagon. By the way, no, they put their own leaks out. They just want to control which leaks happen. Sorry, you want me to take what they say at face value? How fucking stupid do they expect us to be? Like, how naive are we expected to be to think that Trump gives a shit until it's too late? He only got mad about the Elon Musk China thing when the press got wind of it. He wouldn't have known otherwise. Okay. Excuse me. March 21st memo signed by Hegseth Chief of Staff John Casper. That was when they began the signal thing. Casper's memo left open the possibility of a polygraph, although it was unclear if Caldwell was subjected to one. It sounds like he fucking failed, and they were like, yeah, that's 3 spikes in a row. Get the fuck up. Yeah, no, just leave the electrodes in. We're going to get the fuck. Don't let the door hit you. So, his importance was underscored in a leaked text chain on Signal, of course, because he's in there. In it, Hegseth named Caldwell as the best staff point of contact for the National Security Council as it prepared for the launch of the strikes against the Houthis in Yemen. Again, that best part didn't actually turn out that he was the best guy to be giving this shit to. By the way, share the show out, guys, because I'm at a different time, so people probably won't know the show is on. So if you could do that for me, that would be lovely. Caldwell has drawn attention in Washington for past views that critics have called isolationist, which advocates said sought to right-size America's defense priorities. Now, let me tell you something about the isolationists. This goes to some of our alleged anti-war left that originally You had organizations like Code Pink and others that were staffed entirely by people who simply wanted to end war, which is a good thing. And then once that was the prevailing methodology and the sort of tip of the spear. Sorry, I should probably use military. The blunt of the dildo, whatever, that they were using, that it was going to be a primary organization. That's like ringing the dinner bell for fraudsters and fakes and foreign agents and all that kind of shit. And a lot of these organizations get taken over by people who don't want to end war. They just want America to be slow on the response to Russia, for example, or to the rapid defense forces, rapid strike forces in Sudan, so that the Wagner group can keep like pulling gold out of Darfur, because if the Americans and the UN are around, they'll see them do it. So they want America on its, like, we don't have to deal with that shit. So they weaponize the true empathy of anti-war activists, and they take over these organizations, and then they push back on any intervention with this, using the veneer of peace, when in reality what they're trying to do is just give Russia and China leverage in these situations. They don't give a rat fuck who dies. They certainly don't care about, right versus wrong in any of these situations. They have a directive and leverage. Just saying. Okay. A Marine Corps veteran who was deployed to Iraq, Caldwell was quoted saying before going to the Pentagon that America would have been better off if U.S. troops had just stayed home. Again, a reasonable statement. But we are all familiar with the wolf in sheep's clothing. Yes? We're familiar with that? Okay. People need to be, I guess, reminded, the sweetest way I can say it. They need to be reminded that that's a thing. Trust in God and tie up your camel or tie up your horse, depending on what part of the world you're from. And the concept of a wolf in sheep's clothing. Folks, just because somebody uses the right jargon doesn't mean they're on your team. And as a matter of fact, the more unified and specific your jargon becomes, the less people have to defend their actual beliefs within the context of it. If they don't need a depth of conversation to make you think they're on your side, they can just fucking, I got the 3 bumper stickers, and they can just barge right the fuck in. That's how you end up with isolationists and pro-Putin operatives working in peace organizations. And there's a version of this. There's a version of this on the right, which would be Russian operatives sending people like Maria Butina over via the NRA, when Russia has some of the most anti-gun laws in all of the European continent. You don't have any of the rights. There's no Second Amendment in fucking Russia. And if you buy 10 bullets and you go out hunting and you go, I fired 8, you better come back with 8 casings and 2 bullets, or you're in deep shit. You can't buy a handgun unless you've got a rifle license for 5 fucking years. They can take it away any way they want. And yet somehow the NRA was like, we got to fight for the rights of guns in America. And they were like, absolutely, man. Well, come on, man. Let's do this. Bam. So, I think the Iraq War was a monstrous crime, he told the Financial Times in December of 2024. Again, wolf in sheep's clothing. He was also a skeptic of U.S. military assistance to Ukraine and advocated for U.S. retrenchment from Europe. See what I'm saying here? If you have the ability to intervene when someone is facing an aggressor, and you don't, whether you participate or not, you are on the side of the aggressor. In the case of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, whether we're involved or not, materially, financially, support, ultimately troops on the ground, any of that shit, if we have the ability to do it and we don't, and we know it's wrong, that is morally, that puts you on the side of the aggressor. Period. And you can either cop to that or go, I'm a pacifist. I believe all war is wrong, so I believe that a shot fired in anger answered by a shot fired out of self-defense is equal, and that, why somebody dies doesn't really matter. It's just about death. And so if you flip flop that ideology, everybody who has a DUI should get capital punishment. It's easy to see the slippery slope from there. He's a bullshitter. He's a liar. And there's plenty of them around. Rand Paul is as well. And Trump's whole thing about, I'm just tired of all the death and the dying and the death and the dying and the dead and dead dying. He doesn't give a fuck. If we don't stop helping Ukraine through any means, and if Europe doesn't stop helping them, and everybody feels nervous about helping them, Russia's going to get its ass kicked. They already are. And if they had the full support of Europe and America from the very beginning, and everybody wasn't worried about this spilling over into nuclear war, which I think is bullshit. Again, I've said this. I think Russia uses mutual assured destruction as a like a cloche that they can operate under. Like, better let me kill these people, or I'm going to blow everybody up. It's like a home invader who assaults the family and goes, if you get up out of that chair, I'm going to kill everybody. And so you got to let me attack the other members of your family until it's your turn. That's Russia. And there is no moral way to answer what they're doing by simply standing back and letting it happen. Yes, I use the word cloche, which is the cake cover. It's also what like the neo-evangelical Christians believe we have instead of a sky. Okay. Side note really quick for, the Hegseth, Christian titty tattoo bullshit. Can I just say to all the people who are like, I believe, I read the Bible and God, I truly believe God created the earth in 7 days. Okay, first of all, in the original way it was written, it was yom, which is a period of time, which can be a day and is colloquially a day, but could be a billion fucking years. Secondly, what's a day to God? It obviously isn't our regular solar day, because he doesn't time himself or itself or herself by the rotations of the earth. Why would it? And therefore, 7 cycles of infinity. Who cares? Why would you, asshole? Do you think that's really like, man, I think it was like May 8th of the 2 years before Jesus was born. You know what I mean? Anyways, I know I digress. All right. So, this asshole got escorted out of the Pentagon today. This asshole is really good friends with this asshole. And this is not a situation where like this guy was, subverting him at all. As a matter of fact, more than likely, this asshole is taking flack for this dickhead. Telling you. All right. So that said, let's see what Trish Reagan says, because we now know what this article is about.
Breaking right now, this headline exclusive: top Hegseth advisor Dan Caldwell put on leave in Pentagon leak probe. So that's,
by the way, the leak probe is how they found him. And they found that he was unlawfully disseminating classified information. That does not mean that they found him because he leaked from the Signal thing. They may have opened up a can of worms and went, holy fucking shit, everybody's on Signal. What the fuck have you guys been doing? And they're going to find a bunch of people unrelated. Okay, real quick, and that's something that these guys are going to gloss over.
Here's his
derp. That's a great headshot, man. I like now I'm jealous.
Oh, hello there.
All right.
Right now that you can see, this is the gentleman. He is allegedly somehow tied up in this leaking issue that they had going on. Don't forget.
Allegedly, he is tied up in it, whether he's guilty or not, or what he did is alleged. But they walked him out of the fucking building today, like dudes with guns. Let me be clear. When they walk you out of the fucking Pentagon, and whether you're cuffed or not, the dudes doing it are armed. No fucking question. Like, it wasn't just like, Mary, can you help him find his way to the fucking parking lot? No, these are dudes with guns in stool positions, or like hand on the hip, like fucking Wyatt Earp.
They began an investigation into the Pentagon and into potential leaks. Why? Because of that Signalgate issue. And according to USA Today, this is just.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're quoting another mainstream media source. These motherfuckers, like, chat room. Am I the only person that gets gacked up about this? Oh my God, yeah, leaked to who? Well, that's exactly it, Jen. Thank you for the super chat. Exactly, leaked to who? She doesn't know, but she's going to assume it's the press while reading the mainstream press. Do you? I feel like, am I the only person who gives a shit about this? All they do is shit on the mainstream media all day. And then her two fucking sources so far in like the first minute of her goddamn show is Reuters and USA Today, right? You can't, you're not allowed. You're not right-wingers. I don't want to fucking hear it. I don't want Joe Rogan or any of these dipshits to go, put up that New York Times article. No, you're not allowed, fuckhead. You're not allowed. You can't shit on it and then go to it for content. It's fucking aggravating. I know it's like a nitpicky thing, but like, you can't source something and then tell me the rest of the fucking time it's fake news. God damn. Like it, and they all do it. They all do it. Jimmy Dore does it. Fucking Rusty Trombone does it. Peanut Butter Dickhead, her. Like, what the shit? It's so aggravating. USA Today. Okay, what is this? What officials were a part of the confidential chat? Okay, I've already seen that. That's an old list. She has that in the graphic.
Out now, this particular gentleman, if you look down this list.
This gentleman, Dan Caldwell, he ran Concerned Veterans for America with Pete Hegseth. With him. They were friends back at fucking Fox News. They were in that organization together. This gentleman, she says. Fuck off.
List of all the people that were on the Signalgate chat, and we just found this for you, and you can.
Oh, I was very sweet of you. Just in case we have, like most of your audience, have been intentionally avoiding any of the details, so that when we bullshit our family and friends, we can play fast and loose with it. Go, I didn't know about that. That's a bunch of bullshit. Anyways, do you really trust anything? You know, and but like your guy's perfect.
That Dan Caldwell was on that list. So naturally, they were going back and they were investigating who might have leaked something to the press. We don't know. Or who might.
Hey, whoa, stupid. We saw the part that leaked. It came from Hegseth. The details he put in, it was him bragging about the strike before it happened. That's the classified information. Anybody who says that's not classified or that's not top secret is a fucking liar. You're a fucking liar. Stop it. Stop fucking lying. Attack plans, whether you call them battle plans or war plans or strike plans, it doesn't fucking matter. If that information gets out before the strike and it's actually happening, and it actually happens, and our guys in the air and our troops on the ground or whoever's going in this attack are in danger because the bad guys could find out where they are and when they're coming and kill them. So, of course, it's top secret. It will always be top secret. It has never not been top secret. Fuck you. Fuck off. Stop it. End of story. I'm so, it is so lazy and so stupid. And anybody that brings this shit up to me or even starts this conversation is getting shut down. I'm not going to stop talking until you admit, of course that's classified. Of course that's top secret. You fucking moron. If the Houthis, who have anti-aircraft batteries, knew that the planes were going to come overhead and they could do fucking math, which they can, or shit, maybe they have just the Saudi version of ChatGPT and they're able to pinpoint in the general, oh yeah, they come, it's fucking 8 o'clock, boom. They could kill our soldiers. So fuck off. But what we do know is that that is the part, insofar as we have, we haven't seen any other stuff from Jeffrey Goldberg. It didn't come from Dan Caldwell. It came from Hegseth. And if Hegseth told him to put that in there, then he's in deep shit. If Hegseth didn't tell him to put it in there, why the fuck would he in the first place? And also, why didn't everybody, and he, by the way, he has an account and Hegseth has an account. So why didn't he put it in his own shit? Like, hey, Dan, tell him what's what. Or, hey, Dan, stop telling him what's what, right? They're both in the fucking chat. Just the way they, like, the turd polishing.
Who might have had a hand getting some of that information in there? We don't really know. I think that's still up for grabs. Remember Mike Waltz saying that he and his team had created that list of people that were on there. Again,
right. That has nothing to do, by the way, the addition of Goldberg to the whole thing can be an accident. But Hegseth fucked it up for everybody, because Hegseth is the one who put classified information in an unsecure chat. And then from that point on, everybody who stayed in the chat is a criminal, because Pete Hegseth is a fuck up. And if he's going to lay it off on Dan Caldwell, then people need to ask, why was Dan Caldwell posting in that chat group under Pete Hegseth's name instead of his own? And if it was because Pete Hegseth was fucking drunk, I look forward to that committee hearing.
Back to this list. And so I think they were reviewing everybody that was on that list, and they were trying to make sure things were airtight.
Hey, stupid. Things weren't airtight, or there wouldn't even be a list or an article. Do you understand? Of course they're not airtight. And if they want to make it airtight, they would fire Waltz and his second, and Hegseth and his second, and anybody in the team that thought, yeah, go for it, boss. Put the plan in there. And Tulsi Gabbard and everything. That would go a long way towards people trusting that this shit won't happen or isn't happening on the regular in multiple signal chats. Stupid.
Somehow this guy is caught up in something. We're not entirely sure at this point.
We're not entirely sure, but we're somewhat sure. You don't get walked out of the building by security at the fucking Pentagon if it's a brief misunderstanding. He took it and took my stapler, and I don't want to be moved downstairs again. Yeah, I'm gonna have to walk you out of the building.
Yet what, but he is being escorted out of the building. Now, before everybody goes bonkers and says, oh,
yeah,
that's not fair, you know, why are you getting rid of the alleged spy? He doesn't deserve that, etc. I'm going
to... Sorry. Who the fuck watches your show and goes, that's not fair, getting rid of the alleged spy? Would that sentence leave anybody's fucking face? Without them, I guess, slamming their head against their desk? Well, before everybody goes bonkers and says, that's not fair to the alleged spy, said no one ever, you dizzy fuck.
Mind you that this White House needs to batten down the hatches, okay? Because we can't have a repeat of what went on for 4 years. And so they've got to find the leakers. They've got to find the people that are...
Yeah, they're only doing this because the newspapers are finding, so, hey, stupid. Nobody did this to them. Jeffrey Goldberg didn't sneak into the fucking chat. Nobody fucking twisted Hegseth's arm to put classified information. This is all on them. It's all on them. No one else is to fucking blame. If he hadn't done that, there'd be nothing to leak. The whole story from Goldberg would have been, I got accidentally added to this chat. I talked to the lawyers at the paper, and they said you can't stay in there. If they're talking about classified stuff, you can write an article about how they seem to be having, determinative conversations in a relatively unsecure thing. The conversation with J.D. Vance and all that kind of stuff. You could write about that, but you got to get the fuck out. And it never would have been to the criminal level. It would have just been kind of a noisy, embarrassing story about somebody accidentally adding someone. But the minute Hegseth added those details and endangered the lives of our soldiers because he's a fuck up, then everybody else got in trouble. And it had nothing to do with fucking Dem operatives or the deep state or some bullshit.
Problems, so to speak. They've got to find the people that are not on board. It's one.
This motherfucker's on board, dummy. He's on board. He's Pete Hegseth's second in charge. He's not subverting the fucking administration. His talking points are exactly Trump's talking points, you dumbass.
Have an internal dispute. You know, like if I were working at Treasury, I would have said, let's put Peter Navarro aside. Let's put Scott Bessent center stage. Let's make sure that we do this in a way that doesn't cause total chaos in the markets and cause the 10-year yield to go through the roof. Okay. So that's an internal policy debate. It's something.
Yeah, that isn't happening, first of all. So that good idea you think you're having and that you have a difference of opinion with the White House about, I got news for you, dummy. They don't give a shit what you think, and they're comfortable making the same shit mistake over and over and over and over and over again. But what I will say is that to make this analogy that she brings up of, you know, that if these conversations, you know, you wouldn't want them to leak out that she was having this thing about Navarro being pushed aside and Bessent out front. You have to include in that while that conversation was happening, Trump's Treasury Secretary, well, it'd probably be Commerce. It'd probably be Nutlick that did this. Also posted the Social Security numbers of, you know, hundreds of Americans. That's the equivalent in a civilian situation.
If you're out there calling the press and then saying, oh, you know, I don't like this one, that one, and the other, that's a whole other.
Hey, stupid, that's not classified. That's your own opinion. That's just nuisance bullshit. He was removed for leaking classified shit, meaning he's sharing stuff that is, you know, more borderline top secret. They walked him the fuck out of there essentially at gunpoint.
Thing. And I think that's what is feared right now because they went through tons of that. They had all the Obama loyalists, right, that they got hit with.
Yeah, and nothing like this happened. They had little nuisance stories, but no classified information was leaked by those people. And now they've got all the fucking loyalists in there, and these assholes are dumping battle plans on the fucking internet. Like it's almost like they're the perfect, I don't know, cell. Maybe they're, you know, like maybe they're really part of the resistance. They're just wearing a really convincing disguise because they couldn't suck up to Trump more. They're just terrible.
2016, so they need to make sure that they don't have that all over again. It's why, if you think about it, why they got rid of that Susan Myers up in Greenland. Remember the Space Force commander? That was just last week, who said right out there in an email that she did not agree at all with the policy that the administration was putting forward. Well, if you don't agree with the policy, then guess what? You probably shouldn't have the job.
Yeah, that's not like this at all. Yeah, if look, I understand Trump is a delicate flower. He's got no dick and he's totally emasculated all the time. He can't stand his own reflection, and therefore he cannot take a joke at all because he's a giant raving nut. I get it. But there's a huge difference between him being a whingy little bitch who can't take criticism from a woman who's actually earned her place in this world, and somebody that his dude brought into the fucking Pentagon who had to be escorted out the front door at gunpoint. She didn't, by the way, she didn't have to be shown the door. She was relieved of her command, but they didn't have to like, okay, don't touch your desk. We're still investigating. She just left. You know why? Because she's not a danger to national security. That's why. It's just Trump is a bitch. He's weaselly and whiny and pathetic. And again, he hates the sight of his own goddamn face. And any woman who points out how absolutely ridiculous he is, cuts him to the core, and he's got to get rid of him as fast as possible.
They relieved her of her duties. It comes as we learn that the head of the NSA got kicked out. He was also the guy in charge of cyber command. So it's all a result of the Signalgate thing.
No, it's not.
They're very worried. There's a certain level of, I'm just going to call it healthy paranoia there, because given what this team went through.
Yeah, you should have a sense of healthy paranoia, because you hired a bunch of fucking drunks and lunatics. Your DNI is in an anti-gay Hawaiian death cult. You goon. I would be paranoid too. Can you imagine the people that he has hired? Duffy and fucking Nutlick and all these people. Can you imagine them walking around your office where you worked? You'd be like, these motherfuckers, like everywhere you went. You should be paranoid. They're nuts.